How did first start off? How did you get to this point?
I'm not really sure. I really don't know.
For years, Justin Big Chief Shearer wasn't just a racer on Street Outlaws, he was the show. As the 405's top dog and the man behind the list, his passion for street racing helped build the franchise from an underground phenomenon into a primetime powerhouse. So when he suddenly vanished from both the main show and its spin-offs, fans were left stunned and speculations ran wild. Now, after months of silence, Big Chief has finally spoken up and named the 5 members of Street Outlaws he hated the most. This race is not for the faint of heart. You've been warned. You ready? Let's go! Big Chief's rise in street racing. By the time young Justin Shearer, today better known as Big Chief, was 9 years old, he was already captivated by the roar of engines and the scent of burning rubber along the famous Route 66. Having lost his father early on in life, Big Chief also had to say goodbye to his home city in 1992 and relocate with his family to Oklahoma City. This move would prove pivotal. Oklahoma, particularly the 405 area code, was developing a reputation for gritty, no-holds-barred street racing, where respect was earned through skill, nerve, and horsepower. By his teenage years, Shearer had become an active presence in the city's late-night race culture. He didn't just race, he observed, learned, and built connections. Over time, he grew into a respected figure, known not only for his technical skill and quick reflexes, but also for his deep understanding of the community's unwritten codes. It was in these streets that Big Chief was truly forged, not by television lights, but by raw pavement and real danger. As the Oklahoma racing scene evolved, so did Shearer's role in it. By the late 2000s, he was one of the most dominant and organized figures in the local circuit. He founded Midwest Street Cars, a garage and racing brand that became synonymous with serious street racing in the Midwest. What started as a small project grew into a vital hub for racers seeking tuning, performance parts, and a bit of the street racing mystique. Through this venture, Big Chief established himself not only as a racer, but also as an entrepreneur and community leader in the street racing world. His real breakthrough, however, came in 2013 when Street Outlaws premiered on the Discovery Channel. The show was created after a Hollywood producer came across viral videos of illegal street racing in Oklahoma and approached the local racers to bring their world to television. Initially skeptical, since many feared it was a police sting, Big Chief and the 405 crew eventually agreed. The show focused on the top 10 list, a rotating ranking of the fastest racers in the area. Big Chief took on the role of race master, the man responsible for organizing races, enforcing the rules, and maintaining the list. His natural leadership and deep respect within the community translated well on camera, helping to ground the show in authenticity. From the very first season, Big Chief stood out. Unlike other automotive shows that focused solely on builds or races, Street Outlaws found its heartbeat in the racers themselves. Off-screen, Big Chief's life was just as eventful. In 2006, he married Alicia Shearer, a respiratory therapist, and together they had 2 sons. The couple largely kept their private life away from the camera during the early years of Street Outlaws, but as the show's popularity grew, so did public interest in their family. In 2017, Justin and Alicia divorced. By 2018, he had begun a new chapter, both personally and professionally, entering into a relationship with Jackie Brash, a fellow racer who shared his passion for cars and competition. Jackie quickly became a fixture at Midwest Street Cars and on his social media. Throughout the years, Big Chief's net worth has been estimated at approximately $2 million. While some of that comes from Street Outlaws and its multiple spin-offs, A significant portion stems from his business ventures and YouTube presence. Midwest Street Cars remains active and respected in the car community, and his online content has helped maintain his popularity even after stepping back from the television spotlight in 2021. By April 2021, Street Outlaws had aired 17 seasons, but the racing world had changed. Big Chief made the unexpected decision to step away from the franchise, choosing instead to return to the grassroots level of the sport that he had always loved. While Big Chief's departure marked the end of an era, his legacy is more than his racing victories or television fame. It's his impact on the culture of street racing itself. He took an underground, often misunderstood world and gave it a face and a voice. He showed viewers the humanity behind the horsepower, the loyalty behind the rivalries, and the passion behind the danger. And now, we also know the 5 co-stars Big Chief hated working with. Let's get started. Sean "Murder Nova" Ellington. Ellington was once the right-hand man of Justin "Big Chief" Shearer, forming what many fans considered the most iconic duo in street racing. His collaboration with Big Chief began long before Street Outlaws made them television stars. Together, they built some of the most feared cars on the street, including Big Chief's Crow and Sean's sinister blacked-out Murder Nova, which would later become a legend in its own right. By the time Discovery Channel launched Street Outlaws in 2013, Sean and Big Chief were already local legends. The show simply amplified their reputation to a national and eventually international audience. Viewers were immediately drawn to their chemistry, not just as teammates, but as genuine friends. The OG Murder Nova, a 1969 Chevy Nova, was as much a character as the men themselves. But like many long-running partnerships, cracks eventually formed. As early as Season 3 of Street Outlaws, rumors began to circulate about discrepancies in Sean's racing methods. During that season, accusations surfaced regarding his alleged use of nitrous oxide, a serious claim in a scene where no prep and honesty about car setup are part of the street code. While nothing was conclusively proven, the rumor lingered in racing circles and sparked friction. Later in Season 6, controversy erupted again. Rival racers accused Sean of using a hidden leave button, which would allow for a perfectly timed launch at the starting line. While Sean dismissed the accusations and no formal rule-breaking was confirmed by the show's production or racemaster Big Chief, the whispers grew louder. Beyond racing ethics, there was a more fundamental shift happening between the two men. Big Chief remained laser-focused on racing, viewing it as both a vocation and an obsession. Sean, however, began to pivot toward a more balanced life. He poured energy into his own business, 187 Customs, which he co-founded with his close friend Phantom. Located in Mustang, Oklahoma, the shop allowed Sean to express himself beyond the world of racing, focusing on performance builds and custom automotive work while spending more time with his family. He was especially vocal about wanting to prioritize being present for his wife, Erin, and their son, Aiden. It marked a divergence in philosophy. While Chief lived and breathed street racing, Sean was creating a life that didn't revolve solely around it. The growing differences came to a head in January 2021, when the duo announced an official split. For many fans, it was a shocking turn of events. After nearly a decade of partnership on screen, and more than a decade before that off-screen, Murder Nova and Big Chief going separate ways felt like the end of an era. Soon after, Sean made headlines again when he stepped into Big Chief's former role as racemaster on Street Outlaws, America's List, a spin-off that featured the top racers from across the franchise battling for national dominance. His promotion to the position was seen by many as symbolic. It wasn't just a role, it was a passing of the torch. Sean's leadership style differed from Big Chief's. Big Chief, for his part, acknowledged Sean's new role in various interviews and fan interactions. He didn't express bitterness, but made it clear that personality differences played a big role in the split. "We're just two different people, headed in two different directions," Chief stated in a 2021 YouTube live stream. "He's got different priorities now." His words reflected the quiet resignation that often accompanies the end of long friendships. James "Reaper" Goad. Known for his blunt demeanor and imposing presence, James "Reaper" Goad rose to fame through his high-powered 1969 Chevrolet Camaro, D's Nuts, and his unapologetic stance on staying true to the roots of street racing. However, his public criticism of fellow racer Justin "Big Chief" Shearer and the broader direction of the show sparked a firestorm that fractured fan opinion and unsettled the racing brotherhood that Street Outlaws initially set out to represent. The controversy erupted in earnest around 2020, when Reaper began speaking out publicly against Big Chief, one of the show's central figures since its debut in 2013. According to Reaper, Big Chief had grown increasingly difficult to work with, allegedly manipulating situations to maintain his dominance both on screen and on the list of top racers. Reaper claimed that Chief created a toxic atmosphere, asserting that he deliberately held other racers back, particularly those who challenged his authority or questioned the format of races. Reaper used social media platforms such as Facebook and YouTube to voice his grievances, drawing a clear line between himself and what he saw as a clique forming around Big Chief. Reaper's criticisms didn't go unnoticed by fans or the larger Street Outlaws cast. Some members of the community came to Big Chief's defense, citing his consistent performance, longtime leadership, and influence in helping to build the street racing platform into what it is today. Others, however, resonated with Reaper's concerns. Adding complexity to the situation were persistent allegations that Reaper himself may have violated the unwritten codes of street racing. His car, for instance, bore a closer resemblance to a pro mode than a true street car. Pro mods, or professional modified cars, are usually lightweight, tube chassis vehicles designed specifically for drag strips and not real-world streets. The inclusion of such vehicles in a series built on the premise of real street racing blurred the lines of authenticity. Reaper firmly denied these claims, maintaining that his Camaro was built within the guidelines and insisting that he never brought a pro mode to a street race. Nonetheless, the accusations lingered, further complicating his position as a purist voice within the show. Beyond personal attacks, Reaper took aim at Street Outlaws as a whole, asserting that the series had lost its way. In multiple rants posted online, he lamented the erosion of the original camaraderie that defined early seasons when Oklahoma City racers banded together against outside competition in a genuine spirit of brotherhood. He argued that over time, the show had become overly scripted, commercially driven, and plagued by favoritism. Reaper pointed to race setups that seemed prearranged, challenges he believed were biased, and an increasing focus on personalities over performance. In one YouTube video posted in late 2021, he bluntly stated, "This isn't racing anymore. This is a TV circus." Amid this backdrop of criticism, Reaper made several public declarations about his future with the franchise. In mid-2021, he announced he would be stepping away from Street Outlaws. However, he stopped short of definitively quitting, leaving the door open to a possible return should the series realign with what he saw as its core values. His ambiguous departure left fans wondering whether it was a temporary protest or the beginning of a permanent separation. In the months following his departure, Reaper continued to engage with fans and racers through live streams and garage updates, occasionally alluding to new projects, but mostly reflecting on his past experiences. He remained adamant about his beliefs, reiterating that he never entered the world of Street Outlaws for fame or money, but to bring street racing culture to a wider audience without compromising its identity. He criticized what he perceived as the network's tendency to prioritize ratings over fairness, and suggested that behind-the-scenes politics played a larger role than fans realized. The drama between Reaper and Big Chief never reached an official resolution, though the tension between them became a symbol of broader rifts within the racing community. In 2022, when Big Chief himself stepped back from major parts of the franchise, some speculated whether his departure was influenced in part by the mounting scrutiny from within and outside the cast. In any case, whether or not Reaper returns to the show, his influence will continue to shape the narrative of Street Outlaws and the conversation around what it truly means to be a street racer in the modern age. Well, let's not hit the brakes anytime soon. The race is far from over. Precious Cooper. Precious Cooper became a standout figure in the street racing world when she officially joined Street Outlaws in 2016. Known as the Queen of the Streets, Precious was initially introduced through Street Outlaws, Memphis, where she raced alongside J.J. Dabos and the rest of the Memphis crew. Born and raised in Osceola, Florida, Cooper began her street racing career under J.J.'s mentorship, eventually earning national attention for her aggressive yet calculated performances. Her 1969 Chevrolet Camaro, nicknamed Puddle Jumper, became synonymous with her bold persona, helping her earn the respect of even the most seasoned drivers on the circuit. By the time America's List premiered in 2021, a special spin-off designed to pit the best drivers from various Street Outlaws franchises against one another, Precious had already cemented herself as a serious competitor. However, tensions reached a breaking point during the filming of America's List Season 2 in early 2022. The conflict centered around the series' Race Your Way In, or RYWI policy, a set of preliminary matchups that allowed unranked racers a chance to fight for a spot on the coveted Top 25 list. What was intended to foster a fair and transparent path to competition soon became the subject of heated debate, as accusations of favoritism began to surface. Precious Cooper became embroiled in a behind-the-scenes dispute over how RYWI races were being organized and executed. Specifically, there were claims that Precious and other members of the Memphis crew had an outsized influence over the selection process, and that this influence was allegedly used to benefit fellow Memphis racers at the expense of others. Several participants, including Justin Big Chief Shearer and his longtime partner Jackie Brash, voiced concern over what they perceived as a breach of fairness in the competition structure. The disagreement escalated during one of the taping sessions in Texas in early 2022, where America's List was being filmed. A heated exchange took place between Precious and Jackie Brash, Big Chief's girlfriend and co-pilot during races. Tensions among the crews had been mounting for some time, but the argument during America's List filming seemed to crystallize the divide between Team 405, based in Oklahoma City, and led by Big Chief, and Team Memphis. Following the incident, Big Chief and Jackie Brash made the decision to leave the production. Their exit shocked fans and fellow racers alike, as Big Chief had been one of the cornerstones of the Street Outlaws brand since its inception in 2013. He had built a reputation not just as a top-tier racer, but also as an organizer and de facto spokesperson for the OKC street racing scene. In April 2022, Big Chief posted a video to his YouTube channel titled "The Real Reason We Left America's List," offering his perspective on why he and Jackie chose to step away. While careful not to name specific individuals, Chief expressed deep dissatisfaction with the direction of the show and production decisions. He criticized the increasing control exerted by producers over race outcomes, the emphasis on drama over competition, and what he described as favoritism that clashed with the spirit of fair racing. While he did not mention Precious Cooper by name, the timing and context of the video left little doubt among viewers that the feud was at the center of his discontent. Precious, for her part, remained publicly silent on the controversy. She neither confirmed nor denied her involvement in the disagreement, choosing instead to stay focused on her racing. Known for her fiery yet disciplined demeanor, she continued to participate in Memphis-based events and remained a key member of J.J. Dawboss's crew. J.J. himself downplayed rumors of internal drama, suggesting in interviews that racing disagreements were common and often exaggerated by outside observers. Nonetheless, Precious's role in the events of America's List Season 2 remained a source of division among fans, with some accusing her of being toxic and others defending her as a passionate competitor simply standing her ground. Kye Kelly. Hailing from Magnolia, Mississippi, but deeply associated with the New Orleans racing crew, Kye Kelly was a relative unknown in the wider racing world until 2014, when he stunned audiences and competitors alike by going head-to-head with seasoned veteran David "Daddy Dave" Comstock during a televised race on Street Outlaws. The race took place at the Texas Motorplex in Ennis, Texas, and Kelly's win over Daddy Dave not only marked a turning point in his career, but also earned him a reputation as one of the most feared street racers in the country. Kye Kelly's success wasn't a fluke. Following his breakout moment against Daddy Dave, he went on to challenge and defeat some of the most respected names in the Street Outlaws franchise, including Justin "Big Chief" Shearer. In a series of high-stakes, off-camera cash days held across Texas and Oklahoma throughout 2015 and 2016, Kelly consistently emerged victorious against Big Chief, then widely regarded as the face of Street Outlaws and the undisputed king of street racing. These races, often organized through word of mouth and raced on barely lit back roads, were the essence of the street racing culture. Kelly's back-to-back wins against Big Chief created waves within the racing community, not just for the upsets themselves, but for the sheer authority with which he claimed them. What set Kelly apart was not just his skill behind the wheel, but his relentless drive and methodical approach to racing. His signature car, a jet black 1992 Chevrolet Camaro, known as the Shocker, became a familiar and intimidating sight at street races across the South. Tuned to perfection and handled with precision, the Shocker helped Kelly rise rapidly through the ranks. His mechanical knowledge, street IQ, and team coordination consistently gave him an edge over opponents who were either less disciplined or overly reliant on television fame. By the mid-2010s, Kelly was viewed not just as a fast driver, but as a legitimate threat to Big Chief's dominance, especially in street-style no-prep races. Big Chief himself openly acknowledged Kelly's prowess. In several interviews and offhand remarks caught on film or shared by racing insiders, Chief conceded that Kelly may have been the better street racer. While Big Chief's cars, such as the Crow, were built for top-tier performance, they often struggled with reliability or track consistency in certain conditions, issues Kelly rarely faced. Kelly's smoother launches, sharper reaction times, and deep knowledge of tuning for varying road surfaces gave him an advantage that translated into consistent wins. Speculation about the rivalry intensified as Big Chief continued to take losses against Kelly. Though both racers maintained a degree of mutual respect publicly, fans couldn't help but notice the mounting tension during filming sessions, races, and behind-the-scenes interactions. Some believed Chief's frustration was growing, especially as his previously unchallenged supremacy was being threatened by someone outside the original 405 crew. Kelly's outsider status only heightened the drama, as his victories were seen by many as the triumph of raw street skill over reputation and showmanship. Things came to a head in 2021 during the filming of America's List, a major spin-off in the Street Outlaws universe that featured top racers from across the country, competing for rank on a national leaderboard. Set in undisclosed locations across the southern U.S. to preserve the raw feel of street racing, America's List brought together long-standing rivals under more structured, though still dangerous, racing conditions. It was here that Big Chief finally scored a highly anticipated win against Kye Kelly. While on paper it was just another race, in reality it was symbolic, a victory that had eluded Chief for years. However, this long-awaited win came with controversy. Rumors began to swirl that Big Chief's triumph wasn't purely the result of mechanical improvements or better driving, but was influenced by his use of run data allegedly shared by fellow racer Ryan Martin. Martin was accused of sharing telemetry and tuning data from previous matchups against Kelly. This information, while not illegal by racing standards, was viewed by some as a strategic assist that gave Chief an unfair advantage. Whether or not the data made a critical difference remains speculative, but the suggestion added a new layer of complexity to the already fraught dynamic between the two racers. Despite the rumors, Chief downplayed the controversy, framing his win as the result of perseverance and learning from past mistakes. Kelly, for his part, didn't publicly accuse Chief of foul play, but made cryptic remarks in interviews and live streams that seemed to suggest he wasn't entirely satisfied with how things played out. In the years following America's List, Kelly continued to race at the highest levels, participating in No Prep Kings and other national events. He made notable upgrades to the Shocker and later transitioned to a newer car called Jangalang, a fifth-gen Camaro with a reputation for blistering speed. His focus also shifted slightly, taking on more of a leadership role with his New Orleans crew and helping promote the culture of true street racing beyond the scope of television cameras. Richard Rawlings. Richard Rawlings, founder of Gas Monkey Garage in Dallas, Texas, and the charismatic star of Discovery Channel's Fast and Loud since its 2012 debut, stepped into uncharted territory in early 2017 when he accepted a highly publicized crossover challenge. A mega race versus Justin Big Chief Shearer and the famed 405 crew from Street Outlaws. Rawlings had issued a bold online challenge in February 2017, calling out the Street Outlaws crew for an 8-mile no-prep race in Oklahoma, with additional events like autocross and tug-of-war. Gas Monkey Garage built a Dodge Challenger tuned to 500 horsepower with strict rules, street-legal VIN, heavy minimum weight, and steel body panels. In the first head-to-head drag race, Laughlin piloted the Challenger opposite Big Chief's 1970 Pontiac GTO. Although Laughlin clocked a faster time, Big Chief powered ahead at the start, crossing the finish line first and taking race 1. On the second pass, Chief secured a clearer win, earning the overall drag crown with a sweeping 2-0 result. The climax, however, was more than just about elapsed times. Tensions flared and accusations flew. In interviews, Rawlings expressed annoyance at the chaotic, stickier-than-advertised track conditions, contradicting the initial no-prep claim, and admitted neither he nor Laughlin were accustomed to such surfaces. Rawlings and his team felt Big Chief may have violated staging rules by resetting the pre-stage light to gain a launch advantage. When the mega race was shown on TV, Chief's outspoken displeasure with Rawlings's approach landed center stage. Viewers witnessed the clash of two philosophies: Rawlings, representing performance modifications channeled through television spectacle, and Chief, representing raw street racing ethos. In the aftermath, Rawlings reflected on the result and the experience, acknowledging the intensity of the competition and suggesting that direct street-level hustle differed from conventional heads-up drag racing. Meanwhile, Chief's victory, acclaimed by fans and media alike, was as much a nod to street integrity as it was to reaction times. Critics pointed out that the mega race revealed a deeper schism. Rawlings, a former firefighter, cop, paramedic, and street racer who built Gas Monkey into an entertainment powerhouse, had amassed a personal brand worth millions, complete with Gas Monkey restaurants, energy drinks, and live music venues, largely on the strength of Fast and Loud's success. But while his build prowess and marketing empire were unquestioned, his performance under unscripted, gritty racing conditions raised questions. Well, that's all about Big Chief's rivalries, both on and off screen. But wait, there's one final lap: cheating, controversies, and Big Chief's departure. Street Outlaws captures a raw and often chaotic side of racing that exists far from the regulations of professional motorsports. Unlike sanctioned races in NASCAR or NHRA events, where every element is tightly controlled by race officials and technical scrutineers, the street racing scene operates in a gray zone where informal rules and personal honor take the place of structured oversight. The Oklahoma City-based 405 list, featuring racers like Big Chief, Daddy Dave, Chuck, and Ryan Martin, has been both a showcase for real skill and a source of constant controversy. Tensions flared when accusations of rule manipulation and rigged call-outs surfaced, as in 2018 when Chuck and Ryan accused Daddy Dave and Big Chief of dodging challenges to protect their positions. As a reality TV product, Street Outlaws doesn't script its races, but it certainly edits for drama. Producers highlight rivalries, intensify conflicts, and shape narratives that sometimes blur the line between reality and entertainment. This becomes especially apparent when racers are accused of cheating. Feuds like Chuck versus Birdman and Doc versus Monza became flashpoints for fans, igniting debates online and off about the integrity of both the racers and the races themselves. Some racers, like Mike Murillo during the 2018 No Prep Kings season, faced public accusations but insisted on their innocence, citing past tech inspections. Others let the allegations hang in the air, adding to the mystique and drama. Though race day rules exist and are occasionally enforced by race masters, inconsistent application and lack of transparency often led fans to question whether competition or storyline mattered more. Ultimately, these controversies form a core part of the Street Outlaws experience. However, by 2021, Big Chief grew more and more disillusioned with the franchise's direction, particularly with the America's List spin-off and its Race Your Way In format, which Shearer argued favored Team Memphis and undermined the fairness he believed essential to the sport. By mid-2021, frustrated with shifting rules and growing producer-driven narratives, Chief officially stepped away from the show. He has since shifted focus to independent ventures like the Midwest Streetcars YouTube channel, where he and Jackie Brash shared candid builds, racing footage, and technical insights. He also maintained ties with official motorsports bodies, including a reconciliatory relationship with the NHRA, despite early clashes in 2015 over the show's portrayal of illegal racing. Chief remains an influential presence through grassroots events, vehicle upgrades to NHRA spec, and educational racing content. Even after stepping back from TV, he continued to champion the values of real-world competition, discipline, and integrity, proving that his departure wasn't retirement. It was a reaffirmation of the principles that first made him the face of the underground racing world. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.